right, we're here at Farm Tech 2017, joined by fellow Ontarian Andrew Campbell. Based at where?
Strathroy,
yeah,
Ontario.
We had a whole discussion about what was actually listed as our we're from
name tag.
on our lanyards.
Strathroy.
Yeah, Strathroy. No one knows where Strathroy
So everybody has
is.
asked that question.
Yeah,
where is that? Is that
from?
near Red Deer?
Yes, no, it's not. Well, it is if you're in a plane.
Yeah.
Then it's not that
Not
far.
even then, no.
Yeah, no, not even then.
Sorry,
Okay, so now you got to present at Farm Tech.
Yes, I did.
Is this your first time at Farm Tech?
This is my first time at Farm Tech.
Very
it is.
first time. It's fun.
There's
eh?
a person or two at this conference.
There are 2,000 persons.
Yes.
Yeah, there are plenty.
Yep.
Okay, so now you and I both, and actually we've had the chance to present together. We've done sort of the we need to speak up for agriculture and advocacy thing, but one of the critiques that I always get, maybe you do too, is we're really great at talking to ourselves, not so great at talking to each other.
Yeah.
But tell me about your 52 farms in 52 weeks.
So far, fascinating to me. I probably have more fun than anybody because now I can call up random strangers and be like, can I visit your barn?
Yes.
Can I visit your farm? Which isn't weird anymore.
Right.
So it's really neat that way.
Yeah.
Certainly I know there's an audience there that is a farmer, has never seen like a greenhouse before, so therefore is watching.
Or a broiler barn.
Or a broiler barn
which
or anything.
You went up this week.
It's one of those where that audience is there, but I don't think necessarily that that's always a bad thing. I think it's one of those things that, me as a dairy farmer, I don't know a lot about a lot of the other industries.
Sure, yeah.
So I think it's important that we all do kind of have that collective knowledge of what goes on.
Right.
Fortunately, there is, probably the other half of the audience has no idea.
Right, none whatsoever.
Some of this stuff.
And so now you, in 2015, was the Farm 365 project, which was apparently a slow news day that kind of got away on you. But if anyone's not familiar, you posted a picture a day from your farm, posted it on social media with the hashtag Farm365. There was that little issue of activists sabotaging it and also making threats against your family, but we've moved on. From that horrible thing. But through that, you did gain a significant mainstream media and consumer following.
And I think that's, and part of it, I give credit to the mainstream media that picked up on the story.
Right,
and I think that's one of those areas that I know in agriculture we get, hesitant for some of those because not every story is always positive in the media for the industry. So some people get their backs up against the wall and say, I don't want to talk with them for fear that they might take it out of context, which, is always a risk. However, for the most part, I've realized that journalists are just like everybody else in that they want to get it right.
Yes.
And so therefore, we need to have that conversation with them as well. And then they worked out really well in that project that they ran the story. And then so all of a sudden the idea of this farmer using Twitter, mind blown, first of all.
It was a little bit funny, right? They're like, we've been doing this a while. I think it's like you're the first farmer that ever did this.
I'm not the only one that knows how to use Twitter. You know that, right? But it still is that idea that, it was something different for them. And then all of their, very non-farm audience had, some place that they could see.
So now, so we are here. We're at the very beginning of February. It's Farm Tech. And so you've been to a sheep farm, which thank you for starting with the sheep farm. Carrie Willie's farm is fantastic. A cucumber greenhouse, which 12 million cucumbers a year.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of cucumbers.
Yes, it is.
Okay, cucumbers also, I'm sorry, but they smell great and taste meh.
Anyway, that would be a great.
So okay. Like
I mean, my daughter thinks they're everything.
Yeah.
She will eat them like an apple.
Well, right. Okay.
But,
fair enough. But like they smell great, but then anyway, moving on. Broiler
chickens,
and eggs. And with enriched cages and the whole bit. And so I'm watching these. And I, of course, in the social media realm and in the advocacy realm, how much backlash have you got so far? Because I sort of expect it now.
Yeah, me too, and it's wildly quiet, like very
Eerie.
little. Eerie. Eerie is a good word for it because you know that they're watching, and every once in a while, like I did a goat farm too, actually.
Oh, right. I haven't watched that one yet.
On Facebook, you can give it, the or heart
or sad face.
There was sad face. So there was one with a teardrop face, and you're like,
and maybe they thought it was really beautiful.
I'm
gonna
doubt
guess
it.
not. Yeah.
So that's but that's like been
enough.
the only one so far, and so it's like just little things like that. They haven't like come out with it, so it's one of those where, from my standpoint, if they've moved on and they've decided that, oh wow, we can't make him angry enough that he quits, which is fine. I'm not going to. So. Good, or whether they're just kind of waiting for that video that they're just going to, similar to how they did with the Farm 365, in that all at once they're going to lay down for a week or two, and then they move on to something else.
All right, so and coming up, because you were in the Edmonton area, and so you filmed a few. Give us a sneak peek on what's next.
Well, so certainly, in Alberta.
Yes.
What's one of those farms you'd go to in the winter?
When in Alberta.
When in Alberta.
Yeah, obviously you got as many cowboys as you could.
That was
to climb an oil rig.
Yeah.
And then just marry the two.
Thought of that. The beef cattle around the oil rig.
First.
We should have. Yeah. I did do the beef side. So that was an interesting conversation, because with all of these videos, I want to try to, can I eliminate one perception or negative perception out there?
One myth.
One myth. Can we focus on something? So on the cow-calf, had a great conversation with Greg Bowie, who's well known in Alberta agriculture circles. And the conversation was, is beef production sustainable? Is it actually good for the environment, or is it bad for the environment?
Right, because there's all this stuff about cow burps and farts.
Yeah, and that's and like even putting animals on land, are
that
they
could be for food?
Cows
are food, but anyway.
Or like even sensitive areas, like you should never put them in areas like that. So we had a really good discussion, and that'll be coming up in the very near future about what's that sustainability element look like when it comes to beef specifically, but I think agriculture as a whole kind of fits in that.
And I think for any of these things, it's you hear that word or you hear it in that context, you're going to have to see it in so many iterations before it sort of
actually connects and hooks.
And actually stays with you, right?
Yeah,
so that's fantastic. Yeah. All right, and which one are you looking forward to most?
Farm-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
I
probably at the very beginning, I created a list of, maybe before I say I'm going to do this, can I come up with more than 3?
Right.
And I could.
So there's dairies with jerseys, which you have now.
Yes.
Dairies with robots.
Yeah. Dairies with Guernseys, dairies with
Ayrshires. Yeah, exactly. So that's 5. But
not quite. So that's one of the things is that there's only going to be a couple of dairy farms, because the audience that I've had has seen a lot of dairy.
And a lot of corn and soy.
Yeah, so let's expand it. So when I first created it, I didn't know if there was any one that I was looking for in particular, but as I've done it, I've found out that you never go in thinking, oh yeah, this will be okay, or this will be good, because some of the farms out there are just so fascinating that you just walk in and you see, that greenhouse, for instance. Here is, 22 acres, which doesn't really seem like that much, but is the
imagine
precision.
That under roof, though.
Under roof, and the precision that goes into that form of agriculture to produce an incredible number of a cucumber for every single person in the province of Ontario.
Right, and what I find amazing, I've toured a few, but when you grow cucumbers in your garden, they sort of take over, right?
That was
but they train them up so that they can, and stuff like that it's so, you'd never even think about it, really.
Exactly.
And so then to see it, it's so that's how you deal with that.
This makes so much sense. You're so much better of a gardener than me.
But there will be, we'll discuss this after, there will be beets in gardens this year.
Oh,
but anyway.
Good for you.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but there were a lot of beets in the food here, and so we've named it as the IT vegetable for 2017.
Oh, is it?
So find a beet farm.
Farm
not
tech's always leading edge. They're getting leading edge in the food world too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well
so beets,
done.
So not just sugar beets. You should go to a real beet farm.
Oh,
prepare to get very stained boots.
Noted.
Anyway, sorry. All right, Andrew. Thanks so much, and we look forward to a whole year of farm tours.
As do I. Thanks, Lyndsey.